What's up, fuckers, and welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K23 Next Gen. In today's video, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, by far one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. They do have a pretty bad history of not being able to make it out of the second round, but they are definitely led by one of the best players in the NBA in Joel Embiid. The big three on this team is obviously Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Tyrese Maxey. I'm super excited to do a rebuild around all these guys today because they're three guys that I never really am able to get here in 2K. So obviously my goal is to get the 76ers a championship. And of course, the reason we're doing the Sixers today is because I've gotten so many requests from you guys. So of course, if you want to continue or want to see me continue to do these current rebuilds, let me know which ones down below in the comment section. And finally, before we do get into the video, of course, if you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could quickly take a moment and do that. We'd love to have you join the community. But as I mentioned, comment down below what else you guys want to see, whether they're current rebuilds, historic rebuilds, rebuild challenges. I'm excited to get into all of it right before we do start the NBA season. Going to be a good one, man. Hopefully this is going to be a good rebuild today. Let's get into it. There's definitely a decent amount of depth on this Philadelphia 76ers team, but that doesn't mean we're not going to go ahead and still make a couple trades before we do kick off year one. It's nice to say that we're definitely a contender here in the Eastern Conference, so there's really nothing to kind of go ahead and trade away just for an asset, if you get what I'm saying, maybe a draft pick. We're probably not going to be doing that today. Let's get into this roster. We have James Harden. He's not 2019 James Harden, 2018 James Harden. That's not him anymore. But he's still a very good player, and he's obviously somebody we'd like to build around throughout the entirety of this video. Unfortunately, he does regress a little bit. We will kind of play that one by ear, but at this point in time, I have no intention of moving on from James Harden whatsoever. We have Shake Milton here at the backup point guard spot. It's not a terrible backup point guard option. I mean, I'm not really as worried about it when we do have a guy like James Harden ahead of him, so it is what it is for now. We have Tyrese Maxey, who's come on and emerged himself as one of the best young players in the league. I'm super excited to have him here. I have zero plans of moving on from him at any point in time throughout this video. We have Anthony Melton, I believe was actually a draft night trade with the Memphis Grizzlies, is now here. Probably going to be a candidate for our sixth man. We will see how that ends up going, though. We have Furkan Korkmaz here, and then we have Jaden Springer as well. The small forward spot is an interesting one for me because we do have Matisse Thybulle, excuse me. Obviously, tremendous defensive player, is never really going to be in there putting up numbers on the stat sheet. I'd probably prefer to have him come off the bench. Jesus Christ. And you might be saying, well, who are you going to start then? And that's probably going to be Tobias Harris. I'm probably going to start him at the 3, and I'm going to sign their big free agent of this offseason, start their big free agent of this offseason, PJ Tucker, at the power forward spot. I thought it was a little bit too much money for PJ Tucker, if I'm being honest with you, but I guess that's what the market called for, and it's what he ended up getting. So he is 37. I don't know how much longer he'll be here, but he's here for now. He's obviously a really good corner three-point shooter, good defensive player, high-energy guy. He's here. Hopefully he'll help us win a championship. We have Georges Niang, and then we have Paul Reed, who kind of actually was pretty decent last year for the 76ers. And then the center spot, there's really not enough good things I can say about Joel Embiid. He's not going anywhere. He's on a supermax contract. He's fine. He's here the entire video. We have Montrezl Harrell and then Charles Bassey as well. So we are going to make a trade or two. Let's hop into those. I fully believe this team is a contender, and I fully believe that we're going to be in the mix here in the Eastern Conference. So what we're going to do is we're going to get an upgrade at the backup point guard spot. Shake Milton would have been very, very good. And it would not have been a horrible backup option, but he's also on a one-year deal. I don't know if I'd be willing to pay him this offseason. So we're going to get John Wall here from the Los Angeles Clippers. He's an upgrade, in my opinion, when fully healthy. So he's going to come in, and he's going to be the backup here to Mr. James Harden. Welcome to the team, John Wall. And obviously, he'll probably slide into that spot really nicely. It's so weird seeing John Wall and James Harden on the same team together. It really is. All right, so we're, I don't really know what other trades we're going to make. I don't really think there's any big moves that need to be made at this point in time. Maybe we might move on from Georges Niang because I am going to be playing Paul Reed. But other than that, there's really nothing else that I can think of. So unless somebody wants to give me a first-round draft pick, I'll probably just keep him on the roster. I just highly doubt it. So, nothing. We'll keep it. Let's set the rotation. It is officially the start of year one here in Philadelphia, and we have a really fun team. This is a team I think can do some damage here in this Eastern Conference, and hopefully a team that can maybe make it out of the second round and win a championship. So here's how it's going to look. It's James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, and Joel Embiid. Is that going to be the exact starting 5 the 76ers roll out on opening night? I have no idea. But this is a starting 5 that I think is going to go ahead and give us the best chance of winning basketball games. So it's the one we're going to go ahead and go with. Our bench unit, it's all right. It's decent. It's John Wall, Anthony Melton, Matisse Thybulle, Paul Reed, and Montrezl Harrell. It'll be interesting to see how this team, kind of meshes together. It's a mix of some young pieces, some veteran pieces. overall, I'm hoping it'll work. I'll see you guys at the end of year 1 here in Philadelphia. Some things never change as Luka Doncic wins another MVP award. It's the same thing. Jabari Smith Jr., Rookie of the Year, is in Houston. Number 3 overall draft pick. Had a very impressive rookie season. We have Ben Simmons, 6th man. We have Anthony Davis, Depoy. Trey Jones, Most Improved. Doc Rivers, Head Coach of the Year. 62-20 for us here in Philadelphia. I did not see our record, so I'm very happy with that. That gives us the 1 seed here in the East. And overall-wise, the best record in the entirety of the league. So, obviously our goal now is to go out and hopefully win a championship. Joel Embiid, absolute monster season. I mean, in any other year that Luka's not averaging a 37-point triple-double, this is probably good enough for the MVP award. I don't know what's wrong with me this morning. James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris. John Wall was actually a very significant contributor off the bench with 14 points. So I'm very happy I made that trade for him. D'Anthony Melton, Montrezl Harrell, PJ Tucker. I never had PJ Tucker in my starting lineup expecting him to score the basketball. So the bench scoring besides John Wall and maybe D'Anthony Melton isn't great, but I mean, what else would I really expect besides those numbers from the players we have on this team? So we have a very good team, though, and it's a team that I think should hopefully be able to take us pretty deep into the Eastern Conference playoffs, but this is not a fun first-round matchup. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Celtics fan. Come playoff time, the Celtics have a very good history against the 76ers recently. In past 6-7 years, it's really never gone the way of the Sixers. So hopefully we can get by them this time. I mean, this team, what the fuck? The Celtics team is not a play-in team. They're probably a top 3 seed, and wow. I say it every video. I say it every video. There's always a scenario, whether I'm on the winning side, the losing side, whatever it may be. There's always a blown 3-0 lead or a 3-1 lead. I wish this game would just do something about that. There's so many problems with this game that emerge every single year that are problems we've never seen before. A couple examples off the top of my head, that 3-0, 3-1 problem, whatever you want to call it. And then on top of that, the new menu layout, it kind of sucks. Like if you hit B on something, it always goes back to like the full menu. Like just let me just show you an example. Sorry, welcome to my TED Talk. So if I highlight Tyrese Maxey, right, if I'm looking at his numbers so far, and I hit B, typically it would just continue to show me the list of shooting guards. Now it takes me back all the way here. That's annoying and it pisses me off. All right, back to this. We have Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, Capella. We have Bogdanovich, Okongwu, Aaron Holiday. It's a good Atlanta Hawks team. I think we're probably the better squad, and I think we can hopefully move on and finally get the 76ers out of the second round. And we're going to Game 7, and this time we blow the 3-1 lead. You gotta love 2K. Well, actually, no, you don't. But I am getting sick of this game. We have the Bulls and the Timberwolves here in the NBA Finals. T-Wolves go on to win the Finals. Holy hell, Karl Anthony Towns. That is a very much deserved Finals MVP. Let's hit the offseason. Did PJ Tucker retire? I wouldn't be surprised if he... Oh, wow, LeBron retired. Wow, it's just so weird seeing like a 97 overall retire. PJ Tucker did call it a career. Would I be an asshole to override this and maybe just bring him back? No, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I probably could, and I don't think any of you guys would probably care, but we'll let him go off into the sunset after blowing a 3-1 lead. Let's hit the draft lottery. We definitely don't want any picks in this, but we can go ahead and just see who ends up with some of the top ones. It's going to be how are the Suns bad? Look, I'm not saying I expect this game to be perfect when it comes to predicting records for the upcoming season, but the Suns being, bottom of the league is a little bit ridiculous to me. Doc Rivers has had some high moments. He's had some low moments, a lot more low moments recently. He's not a horrible head coach. I like Doc just because he was the head coach that led my Celtics to their most recent championship back in 2008. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt right now. I just want to coach of the year, but I do not like having the same coach that's blowing 3-1 leads. But I'll put that on 2K for now. We probably need to go ahead and make some trades. Unfortunately, we just don't have a ton of assets, so we're probably not going to really be drafting anybody this year. We do have the 5th overall pick in round 2, so maybe I'll go ahead and select somebody there. Actually, you know what? I don't really care. Just draft whoever you want for me. Andre Jackson. I have no idea who you are. Ike Udo. Nah, I'm good. All right, team player options. So James Harden declines. I'm actually going to bring back John Wall. Montrezl Harrell accepts. Daniel House accepts. Charles Bassey and Jaden Springer can both come back. I definitely want to get James Harden locked into a contract. Matisse Thybulle and Paul Reed are definitely both getting their qualifying, especially considering we lost out on PJ Tucker. I definitely need to go, holy shit. What happens to being, for the team? James, come on. I'm kidding. He deserves the money. He's very good. All right. I am going to go ahead. Moses Brown and Julian Champagny, I don't know, can go. I obviously am excited to have James Harden back here. I'm going to wait on Thybulle to go ahead and hopefully give him an actual contract. and then we should be kind of good to move on from there. So he wants around $9 million a year. It's not terrible. We do have to figure out what we're going to do with the starting lineup. Ultimately, I could just slide Tobias Harris back to the 4, have Matisse Thybulle start at the 3. I don't really love that option, though. And ultimately, we don't really have any money or a ton of other assets, so we might have to kind of make do with what we got, which means we might have to depreciate the bench a little bit, which kind of does suck, but let's see what trades we can come up with. We're going to try to trade for Keldon Johnson here from the San Antonio Spurs. I think he would definitely be an upgrade over our current 0 power forward, so Keldon Johnson would be a really good addition to this team. I don't want to give up DeAnthony Melton. Unfortunately, it's probably going to have to happen. These two are in here because they have to be to make the money work. I was fine with moving on from Montrezl Harrell anyways, and we don't even have to give up a draft pick. I'm actually pretty thankful for that, considering what our draft picks look like right now. We are very low on draft picks, and yeah, it's definitely a little bit nerve-wracking going in to next year, where I don't want to say a make-or-break year, but it's definitely probably the season to win a championship if we're going to go ahead and do it. I'm honestly going to give Jaden Springer some minutes. Is this a good idea? I have no idea. Probably not. But Tyrese Maxey's going to get a huge majority of the shooting guard minutes, so I'm not really worried that much about his backup. And I want to see if I can kind of maybe get a little bit of that untapped potential to come out of Jaden Springer. So other than that, we just need to find, hopefully, a new backup power forward. I do want to bring back Paul Reed. He is a restricted free agent, I believe. I don't know if it's going to let me give him a contract. Let me just look him up. And then that's going to kind of call it an offseason. I'm happy that we were able to go ahead. Okay, we cannot. He is restricted, though, I believe. So we're fine. We can go ahead and get him back. I will see you guys at the start of year 2. The start of year 2 is officially here in Philadelphia. Now, we definitely lost some depth on this team. We lost PJ Tucker to retirement, so we had to kind of go ahead, make some trades. We definitely lost a little bit of bench depth, which definitely does make me nervous. But I'm still very confident in this starting lineup and, honestly, this bench unit a little bit. It sucks that you see guys like James Harden regressing as much as he is. He was a 90 overall, coming off a really solid year of 22.5 points, 6.5 boards, 9.5 assists, and he's down 3 overalls. Got to give it a 2K. Followed by him is Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, Keldon Johnson, and Mr. Joel Embiid. I want to get JoJo an MVP award. I think that would be a cool thing to do. Bench unit's going to be John Wall, Matisse Thybulle, Paul Reed, Charles Bassey, and Jaden Springer is going to be playing 10 minutes a night. So this bench is definitely a lot worse than it is last year. I'm still pretty confident in it, and I think the starting 5 honestly got better. I would take Keldon Johnson over PJ Tucker any day of the week. So I'm happy with how it looks, and I'm hoping for a successful season, a championship. I'll see you guys at the end of year 2. Another shocker, it's another MVP for Luka. Congratulations. Victor Wembanyama takes home the Rookie of the Year award. He was the number 2 overall draft pick. Okay. I'm not saying Scoot's not going to be great in this league. I think Scoot's going to be a hell of a player. But I'm saying not drafting Victor Wembanyama is a mistake, number 1 overall. Anthony Black wins 6th Man of the Year. Chet Holmgren wins Defensive Player of the Year. Also wins Most Improved. Nate McMillan takes home Coach of the Year. I did not see our record. I'm not going to pretend I saw our record. We go 58-24. We won 62 games last year. I'm not going to be upset with 58 wins, especially when the bench did get worse. So this is still a very good team and a team that I'm hoping can go out and win a championship. Embiid, Harden, Maxey, Keldon Johnson, John Wall. John Wall has really, really revitalized his career here, and I'm really happy about that. Rebounds was Embiid, and assists was Mr. James Harden. So, first round, let's sim the plan. Who we got? Going to be the Toronto Raptors. Much better than the Celtics. I mean, obviously, we beat the Celtics, but I'd much rather face the Raptors pretty much any single day of the week. We are up 3-0 against them. I'm not even comfortable with 3-0 leads anymore, which is ridiculous to say, but I'm not. We're facing a Cleveland team that is extremely talented and a Cleveland team that appears to be really deep. So, this definitely makes me a little bit nervous. We definitely do have the best player in the series, but we are down 3-1. And oh boy. We're going to a game 7, and at least I'm happy it wasn't a blown 3-0 lead, but we definitely need to make some trades this offseason. Was that Chris Middleton? Oh boy. And what? Yeah, wait, what are the Spurs doing here? What is this lineup? Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. All right, let's hit the draft lottery. I'm going to probably make some trades right now that are not going to be super popular, and I do apologize about that. Pelicans, Thunder, Suns, Thunder, and Spurs. Good. Spurs were just in the finals. It's exactly what they need. Do I move on from Doc Rivers? What are my options here? Obviously, he has pretty good ratings. I don't know. I just don't know if he's the man for the job anymore at this point. Mark Dagnall's here. Stauffer's obviously here. You know what? I'm going to go with Jacob Underwood. Jacob Underwood is somebody I have not gotten in a long time. So let me go ahead and get Jacob Underwood wherever the hell he is. Wait, nope. I'm under head scouts. I hate this new coaching system. I think it's set up completely idiotically. Where the fuck? You know what? I'll be back. We signed Jacob Underwood, and we have simmed up to the draft. I'm not going to be using our draft pick. I'm going to be trading it for a future pick from the Celtics. It's just going to turn into some sort of trade asset. I'll bring back Jaden Springer. He didn't play great. I mean, he only played 10 minutes a night. Obviously, we have some big free agents here. Tyrese Maxey being my number one priority. He's not going anywhere. I'm just going to do some 2K glitchy things and give him the qualifying offer because why not? I can. Other than that, Tobias Harris is somebody I want to pay and bring back. He's also somebody I'm probably going to be trading. Just to be straight up honest with you 100%. Paul Reed, I can wait on. And then Charles Bassey is also somebody I'd like to bring back. But most importantly, we got Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris back. And I think Tobias Harris is probably on his way out. So let's find a trade. This might turn out to be a really dumb trade, but it's a risk that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take. Anthony Black coming off a rookie season of 14.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5 assists. I'd like to have him here in Philadelphia. Tobias Harris ultimately kind of ran his course with us here. And we are moving on. Anthony Black, welcome to Philadelphia. I'm excited to have you here. So at this point in time, we don't really need to do a ton. I'd like to go ahead and bring some of our bench pieces back, including Paul Reed. We are over moratorium, so I can go ahead and I can pay him. And hopefully I can find Charles Bassey. I don't know if it's going to let me pay him. Let me look up last name and Bassey. And Charles Bassey, it's not going to let me pay him. Sweet. Did he have a qualifying offer? He did. So he's not going anywhere. Did John Wall, retire? I'm assuming he probably did. Player retirements. I'm assuming John Wall went out because I just can't find him. No, maybe not. Oh, yes, he did. John Wall retired, which sucks. He was obviously a huge, important piece of this bench. But we ended up losing him and can't really do anything about a guy retiring. I'm considering if I want to trade James Harden right now. I have not made any final decisions, but if I do, it's obviously going to be a really big trade. I definitely do need to sign some sort of backup point guard. I'm not seeing any backup point guards, but I'll sign Kyle Anderson, and I will then trade Kyle Anderson. So let's go ahead and move Kyle Anderson for a backup point guard, and hopefully it's somebody decent enough. Like Ricky Rubio, he's 33. It makes me a little nervous with regression. At this point, though, I'm not really seeing any other options. Devontae Graham, he didn't play last year. That's insane. Gary Payton the second. You know what? I'll take Ricky Rubio. Could be a good facilitator off the bench for us. Let's look into some James Harden trades. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I would be dumb not to look. I think it would be really dumb for me not to do this. I didn't want to trade James Harden, but at the end of the day, he's 34 years old. He's 87 overall. His numbers are kind of going down in the points department and rebounds. It doesn't really scare me. What scares me is how low his overall is going to be heading into next year. Tyrese Halliburton is very good at this point. He's very, very good. He averages a double-double. He's basically a walking double-double. Let's go ahead and get Tyrese Halliburton on this team. He's going to be my new starting point guard, and he's not going to regress. So that's kind of the number one thing for me. At this point in time, this bench continues to get worse, but I kind of had to make do with what I had. We're going to get Charles Bassey back in his qualifying, and I'll see you guys at the start of year 3. We made some pretty big trades, and I don't know if they're going to work out, but they're trades that I'm ultimately pretty happy I made, and hopefully they lead to a championship. It's Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Black, Keldon Johnson, and Joel Embiid. The bench unit, Matisse Thybulle, Charles Bassey, Ricky Rubio, Jaden Springer, and Paul Reed. We have legitimately basically zero scoring off the bench, which sucks because we had a guy like John Wall who was averaging over 15 points a game as our sixth man, and then he up and retired, which sucks because I would have loved to have brought him back, but I don't really override retirements here. I don't really consider it like cheating or anything. It's just not really the way I do my videos. Okay, well, I actually want to check on what James Harden's overall is over there in Indiana. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be the highest overall, but he is an 84. James Harden would have been still really good. I'm still happy that we have Tyrese Halliburton. Hopefully you 76ers fans are as well. I will see you guys at the end of year 3. I'm very nervous. We went 63-19. I'm very happy with that record. Ultimately, I don't really care about it unless it turns into a championship. So, Luke, another MVP. DJ Wagner wins Rookie of the Year. He's in New Orleans. Markelle Fultz, Sixth Man of the Year, found a new home in Memphis. Evan Mobley wins DPOY. Cason Wallace, Most Improved. JB Bickerstaff. Holy shit. 66-16 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're not going to be a fun team to face. I mean, at the worst, I'm going to have to face them in Eastern Conference Finals. But I don't really want to face them in Eastern Conference Finals. Those are my per 36 numbers. I screwed that up. Let's take a look at the numbers. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Keldon Johnson, Anthony Black, Tyrese Halliburton. Didn't really do in the scoring department like Harden probably would have, but he has the same similar assists, and I'm very happy with his overall. The scoring off the bench primarily came from Ricky Rubio and Charles Bassey, which is not something that I like to say, but you know what? I'm fine with it. We are a 2 seed at 63 wins. Kind of insane to say. It's okay, though. Tyrese Proctor, Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey. a prisoner, Miles Turner, Jaden. Holy shit, that's a deep team. That's a team that makes me a little bit nervous. And it's one that I'm hoping I can kind of get by here in the first round, because knowing 2K, in my luck, I'd probably blow a 3-1 lead. Don't let me do this right now. Okay. Orlando here. Peyton Pritchard, Desmond Bain, Franz Wagner, Palaban, Carol Valanciunas, Wendell Carter Jr., Suggs. Another really good bench they have there. Overall, I'd say we're probably the better team. They blow us out of the water in terms of benches, but our starting five is definitely a lot better. We win in 5. We are officially out of the second round. It feels good to say. Cleveland, god damn it. This team, you have CJ off the... What the fuck is going on? There's no way we beat this team. There's just absolutely zero way. We're up 3-2. How we just beat that team? I'm just... The way 2K's been going with me lately, I'm surprised at everything. We're in the NBA Finals. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder here, who are a very good team, but they're a very young team. They're a little bit inexperienced. I don't think that matters as much here in 2K, but I'm hoping we can get a championship. We are down 2-1. We're 2-2 with them right now. We go down 3-2. We're going to Game 7. I'll simulate it with Simcast. See if maybe there's a point I maybe want to hop in a little bit. I mean, if it's not close, I'm not even going to hop in just because, okay, thank God. Please tell me we're going to win. And it looks like we are. Okay, thank the Lord. And thank the heavens. Joel Embiid, Finals MVP. All right, well, that feels good. It's I've been on a little bit of a dry spell in terms of winning championships, and it feels good. And happy to know that it worked out. This game still pisses me off beyond unreasonable doubt, but you know what? I had fun with this rebuild. I think we made a pretty fun team. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like down below. I greatly appreciate it. Of course, if you guys are new around here, do me a favor, hit subscribe and stick around a while. We'd love to have you. Other than that, that pretty much wraps this one up. This was a super fun team. And a championship is a championship. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.